You wanted to know what to expect at your postpartum visit. And generally speaking, most women see the doctor for the first time at 6 weeks postpartum if she had a vaginal delivery. And after a C-section, you typically see the doctor about 1 to 2 weeks postpartum to make sure the incision's healing nicely. And then again, between 6 and 8 weeks postpartum to make sure that there's no complications and everything's healing well. You can expect the doctor to perform a physical exam and to also ask you a lot of questions about what you've been experiencing and how you're feeling. So if you had a vaginal delivery, you can expect the doctor to perform a vaginal exam and to make sure that the stitches have healed nicely and that there's good muscle tone and there's not any issues that need to be addressed there. They may also ask you about if you're having problems urinating or having bowel movements. And if you had a C-section, they'll also talk with you about your incision to make sure that it's healing nicely. They'll look at it and make sure that there aren't any complications with the healing process. You can also expect a breast exam, and they'll talk with you about whether or not you're breastfeeding. And if you are, they'll want to know how it's going and see if you have any questions or concerns about it. They'll talk with you about vaginal bleeding as well. And all women, whether you had a vaginal delivery or a C-section, can expect to have bleeding for 3 to 6 weeks after delivering your baby. And so by the time you're seeing the doctor for your postpartum visit, you really shouldn't be having any bleeding or spotting. And so if you are, be sure to bring it up. And it's definitely a topic of conversation your doctor will bring up at some point if you haven't already. They'll also ask you about pain you've been having: breast pain, abdominal pain, perineal pain, pain upon urination, or pain with bowel movements. If you're having any unusual pain that's been persistent or has gotten worse in the last little while, bring it up with your doctor and they can perform the exam, ask you more specific questions about it, and tell you if it's normal and it's something you can just continue to watch, or determine if further investigation is warranted. Other topics they'll discuss with you are birth control and resuming intercourse. If everything looks okay at that appointment, then it's usually okay to resume intercourse. But just because the doctor gives you the green light, it doesn't mean that you have to if you're not ready for it. And keep in mind that if you are nursing, it's not a sure form of contraception. And so the doctor will talk with you about options available to you based on your circumstances, and it's something that they'll implement at that appointment. Ideal birth spacing is about 2.5 to 3 years from the birth of one baby to the birth of the next, and so it's an important topic to discuss at that appointment. Another very important topic your doctor will discuss with you is your emotional state and well-being. They may ask you, how are you doing emotionally? And take this question seriously and use it as an opportunity to discuss thoughts or feelings you may have been having that you're questioning. Like if you're wondering if it's normal to still be sad and teary and depressed, bring it up with your doctor and they'll be able to ask you more questions about what's going on, determine if you're experiencing normal postpartum blues or if maybe you're experiencing postpartum depression, anxiety, or obsessive compulsive tendencies. And if that's the case, then they can hook you up with resources and talk with you about a treatment plan, which in most cases involves medication and or therapy, and it is possible to feel like yourself again. If you have urgent questions or concerns prior to going to your postpartum visit, be sure to call your OB provider's office and ask and get those things addressed. But if you have non-urgent questions, write them down and come prepared to ask the doctor at your appointment. If you have more questions in the future for me, feel free to ask them on our Facebook page at facebook.com/Intermountain Moms, and recommend us to your friends and family too.